Today we're going to learn advice for social entrepreneurs. We're talking to Lauren Wallis, the co-founder of YouMe Clothing. Welcome to Happiness Adventure. I'm Lisa, and together we'll explore ways to cultivate real joy in our lives. Lauren, welcome to Happiness Adventure.
Thanks for having me.
You're a social entrepreneur, and some people might not know what that is. Could you describe for us what the term means?
Yeah, it's kind of an ever-changing term, but in general, a social entrepreneur is someone who's created an enterprise or a business with the idea of affecting social change. So solving community-based problems, and you're not just concerned with the bottom line of money or profit, you're kind of concerned with the triple bottom line. So people, planet, and profit.
Oh. And what is the social enterprise that you run?
It's called YouMe Clothing, and we're a nonprofit based here in San Diego, and we currently work with 4 different countries in Africa. And our heart is to create repurposed, ethically made apparel and accessories that empower communities in need locally and globally.
And how did that come about?
So my co-founder was living in Uganda, and he was volunteering and getting to know this organization that was there, forming relationships with the kids and the community leaders. And something he found over the time he was there was that the cycle of dependency was kind of developing with a very well-intentioned organizations coming over and providing school uniforms and food and supplies, but not really asking the community to participate in exchange. So there was no kind of relationship. It was just, let's bring over and kind of dump all these things, very well-meaning, just trying to meet a need. But the community leaders were seeing how that was impacting the families in the village in a negative way. So he kind of had this idea of, what if we meet these immediate needs like a school uniform, but then we ask the kids to kind of give up something in exchange, something small, and it becomes this relationship, it becomes this two-way street of giving, and that we could somehow take those, old clothes that the kids are giving for the uniform, repurpose them back here, incorporate them into, our branded apparel and accessories, and then get sold to go back to community projects. So it became this really cool, repurposing model that invited the community to be a part of the process as well.
Mm-hmm. And why are school uniforms important for children in Africa?
Yeah, so in a lot of the rural international communities that we work, school uniforms are still required to attend school. Mm-hmm. So they can be a barrier to education because they're usually pretty expensive. They can run anywhere from $10, $15 to $20 for a uniform. They're really well made. They're made by local tailors or maybe like one organization or business, in that city. So families are forced to decide between putting food on the table or sending their kids to school in some cases. And so we thought, after a lot of conversations with our partners on the ground and really listening to them of like what were some of the big needs they had, that we could meet this very specific need and kind of alleviate that burden from the families so that they could send their kids to school. So we worked with local tailors to work out making the uniforms for the villages, and we would pay for them and bring them to the communities and do this exchange process. And it was really beautiful that we were able to help kids sometimes go to school for the first time.
Wow, how meaningful. Whether people are entrepreneurs purely or social entrepreneurs, what would you tell them based on your experience are some tips for being successful?
Yeah, there's a couple things that have really helped me kind of on this journey. And one of them is surrounding yourself with other risk takers. So not doing it alone. I think being able to share the struggles is really key, but then also you're not just sharing your struggles, you're having people with you that are sharing your successes and cheering you on. Yeah. And that can just be really powerful. The second is to realize that failure is a part of the process and to kind of embrace that. It's a very humbling thing, I think, when you hit setbacks or kind of maybe do something that fails as an entrepreneur or just, taking risks in general. But if we kind of learn to reevaluate and pivot and see those as learning lessons, yeah, I think they can be really powerful tools. And I think another big one for me has been to stay curious and not compare. We hear it all the time, that comparison is a thief of joy, and it really can be. I think it can really suck all of the joy out of the process and the work that you're doing. And so being able to switch our perspective to being curious about an organization or a person that we really admire, and yeah, being excited about what they're doing and supporting them and being excited about what they're doing versus comparing it to our own journey. Yeah, and I think finally just be patient with yourself and others in the process. You know, we change a lot and grow a lot as we go along this social entrepreneur journey, and realizing that you're going to change as a person, as a business owner, and so are the people around you, and just understanding to allow yourself to be flexible, I think, is a huge thing.
Yeah, those are great. How has following your passion created joy in your life?
Taking the risk to start this company uncovered a lot of fears that I had about what I could do and, you know, what my abilities were, my gifts or my talents. And I think pushing through those fears and figuring them out and coming out on the other side made me stronger and made me realize what I was capable of. And that brought me a lot of joy in kind of who I'm becoming and who I am, and realizing how far I've come.
What encouragement do you have for someone who's thinking about pushing through something uncomfortable for them?
I think a piece of advice I got was that if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. So I think just knowing that it's not going to be easy is actually really encouraging in a weird way. And I think it goes back to kind of my own personal story of, like, if you're always going to ask yourself, what if, it's worth it to take the risk and figure it out, and everything else will kind of fall into place. But I think if you're passionate about what you're doing and you feel really strongly about it, that you should pursue it.
Yeah. And so many lives have been impacted because you did. So thank you.
Thank you.
We just heard tips for social entrepreneurship from Lauren Wallis, the founder of YouMe Clothing. The link to Lauren's website, as well as all of her resources, are in the description box right below this video. In the comments section, let me know, is there a tip that you can put into practice? Before you go, subscribe to Feed Your Happy with a bite-sized video each week, and I look forward to seeing you soon for our next happiness adventure.